Let's take a look at what's going on with Dogecoin today, guys. All right, so in Friday's video, we were watching this potential breakout right here. This is the pattern that I've been looking at. We had a nice big run up, and then we were bouncing in between these two trend lines. We had resistance, resistance, support, support. We had these two trend lines. I was thinking if we could break this resistance, this top line going to the upside, I was looking at a target of approximately 0.641, somewhere around there, because if we drag from the bottom of the flagpole to the top of the flagpole, this kind of looks like a flag pattern. We have a big run up, then consolidation. If we break that top, then we can drag from the top to the bottom of that pole pattern, because it's a pole. Then we have the flag. Once we break that top, then we can target this area up here, using the bottom to the top of that run. But it kind of fizzled out. We broke that resistance. We got a nice green pump to the upside. I thought for sure that I was getting way more confident on this target going to the upside, but it looks like we had some trouble right here, and then we started kind of trending down and kind of started cooling off, and the flag pattern didn't perform exactly as expected. So let's go ahead and get rid of this for right now. I don't know, I'm still kind of hoping that it goes to the upside, but I'm kind of a little skeptical right now, or actually, I'm kind of not, I guess I'm a little worried that it might not be going up more, but let's see. Here's the thing that I'm looking at right now. Okay, so we have resistance right here, and then we got some more resistance right here. So let's go ahead and adjust our trend, that top trend line, something like this. And then the other thing we have to do is look at the bottom. So we have support, support, support. Looks like we have a new trend line, something like this. Let's go ahead and draw something like that. It kind of looks like a rising channel, rising wedge, you could argue. Let's go ahead and delete this one. I mean, I guess we could kind of keep this one. This is like our bottom. If we break that bottom going to the downside, then we know that we can get more confident on targets going to the downside. And same with this support line right here. We're still technically trending up. We're getting higher highs, higher lows. Let's see if we could stay in this channel pattern, bouncing in between these two lines like this, and continue to be pushing up. It is trending up, like I was saying. We are moving up on the lows and moving up on the highs. Let's see if we can continue that pattern. If we break this trend, though, going to the downside, then we'll have to look at this previous bottom right here where we had support. This is sitting at around 0.340 approximately. If we break this trend line, we might be going back down here. But yeah, we haven't done that quite yet. So maybe it's possible that we continue in this channel pattern going to the upside and continue to push up. We still haven't broken that trend line, so that's kind of what I'm looking for as far as targets going to the downside, or as far as us really getting a confirmation that we might be pushing to the downside. What else? If we go to the hourly time frame, we have a couple things. Let's see. We have resistance, something like that. We broke it going to the upside, but I don't know. We're basically kind of going sideways. Let's see. Let's do something like this. I'm just charting this out real quick. We had in the smaller time frame, like on the hourly, we had resistance, resistance, support, support, little rising wedge. It looks like we're breaking that going to the downside right now. Let's see if it continues to go down. I'm kind of curious what's going to happen in general, though. I mean, I'm hoping that it gets a bounce to the upside, but this, breaking this, we also had this uptrend right here, something like that, and we broke that going to the downside. I mean, we had resistance right here, came down. I was looking at this trend line right here, and then we broke that, so that wasn't looking very good. But then we formed this other downtrend right here, resistance, 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 and broke that going up. So we're breaking going to the downside and then breaking going up. So it's kind of tricky right now. Let's see what happens, though. When I was looking at it on the daily time frame, it still looked pretty good. Let's go ahead and just delete everything. Let's see. Do I have anything else in this chart? I think I can delete everything. Let's just delete everything, something like that. When I was looking at it on the daily time frame, though, it still looks like pretty good. Like if we zoom out and look at it, like well, I don't know. You could argue different things, but like all these green candles, this is still looking pretty good. We're not getting like big red candles yet. That is like kind of pushing us down, but I mean, this could be the end of the run. Who knows? Let's see what happens. That's why I keep saying let's see what happens. But it when I was like zooming out on it, it looked like I don't know. This looks pretty good still. So I'm hoping that we're still doing good. As far as when we go to the daily time frame, it looks kind of good when you zoom out. That's kind of my point here. We haven't broken the daily 9 moving average. I was talking about this a long time ago. Is basically when I'm looking at this 9 moving average, this blue line right here, and as long as we're above the blue line to the moving average, then that's a good thing. Whenever we break above it, then we can get support in it, bounce to the upside, and continue to bounce, get support and bounce to the upside. When we break below it, then that's a signal that we might actually be heading to the downside. The daily time frame looks like it's kind of testing it right now, testing that 9 moving average going to the downside, but let's see if it actually breaks it. It tested it right here, got a bounce to the upside. Let's see if we could stay above that 9 moving average. If we can, then that's a good sign. If we break below it, then that might be a sign that we actually might be getting a retracement or a correction. Let's see. Let's take a look at the weekly. On the weekly, we're clearly still above that weekly 9 moving average. And let's check out the daily real quick. The monthly. I'm sorry. So we have this 9 moving average right here. Once we broke above it right here, we've gotten huge green candles. Let's see how far we can go. So we have 5 days and 12 hours to close this candle. In my opinion, I think if we can close this candle above this previous top right here, where we had the close of the bodies, or the bodies kind of chilled right here, then I think that'll be also a good sign for Dogecoin. Like I said, we have 5 days, 12 hours. Let's see if we can continue to stay above this area right here, which is this spot is sitting around .338. I think if this candle can close above .338, then it'll give us a better chance to get a next candle and move even more up, possibly. That's what I'm kind of hoping anyways. Let's see what happens though. I do on the monthly time frame, I do want us to close this candle above this previous top right here. I mean, we have the previous top is all the way up here, but those are the wicks, and the bodies are up here. So if the body can close, we can get a higher body close up here, or in general higher than .338, then that might be a good sign as well. So let's see what happens as far as that. We had declining volume. Looks like we got a nice green candle at the end of that, which is a good sign as far as like a breakout. So let's see if that comes into play, or that is a good signal for Dogecoin. But yeah, going back to the daily time frame, I'm kind of just curious what's happening as well today, or what's going to happen. I'm hoping that we push back to the upside. I haven't took profits yet. I know I was going to right in this area, and it was like a nice number in my portfolio, but I figured I've already waited this long, and since I made that target of around .64 whatever it was on Friday, I was thinking that I better at least stick with that target. So yeah, I mean, let's see if we do that flag pattern again, we drag from the bottom to the top of this flag pattern, drag that to the breakout. I was looking at something like this, so I'm still kind of hoping that it goes like higher, but I don't know. I think now the target the pattern that I'm kind of looking at is more of that channel pattern or rising wedge. Rising wedges are technically bearish patterns when we're rising on a channel pattern, and it gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. Usually it breaks to the downside. It's not always. Sometimes it breaks to the upside in a bull market, but yeah, that's something to be aware of. So I don't know. This is the kind of the new pattern that I'm looking at right now. If we could break this resistance going to the upside, what I would probably do, like if we break this top line right here going to the upside, what I would probably do is target from the top to the bottom of the channel, drag that to the breakout, and that would be a target, something like that, maybe around .592 approximately. but we're not. It looks like we're kind of more testing the bottom than we are the top right now. So the thing that we did, what I would do is if we broke the bottom, probably set up a Fibonacci retracement chart, but I would also probably use this channel pattern similar way. Well, I would be looking at this bottom right here where we had this bottom, and this is sitting at around 0.344. If we did break this trend line going to the downside, I would be looking at 0.344 for possible support. Maybe we get a bounce to the upside, but if we broke this one going down, then we'd be really having a look at those Fibonacci retracement. We'd have to set up the Fibonacci retracement levels. Let's see what else. What else was I gonna say? But yeah, those are the things that I'm looking at right now on Dogecoin. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other charts. Let's look at Dogecoin to Bitcoin. This one's kind of just been going sideways as well. We have resistance giving me this top right here. I think if we could break that, then we could really start getting some movement. If this chart's going down, then that's good for Bitcoin. If this chart's moving up, then it's good for Dogecoin right now. It looks like it is kind of going down, which means that Bitcoin's been performing a little bit better. But let's see. So yeah, like I said, I think if we could break this resistance though, going to the upside, there's a big move to the next previous resistance up here. So I think in general, if we could break this line right here, that's going to be good for Dogecoin. It seems like we had this previous resistance right here. If we zoom out, it was a previous resistance back here. And it looks like it's turning into support right now. We came down, found support in it, got a bounce. Got resistance, came down, found support in it, and got a bounce again. Let's see if we come back down and touch it again, or I don't know. Let's see what happens. But this level right here that was previous resistance looks like it's now turning into support, and it looks like we've been bouncing on it right here and right here at least. Let's hope that we can stay above this and continue to push up. I was looking at this. Let's go to the 1 hour time frame. I was looking at this little falling wedge. We broke that going sideways. In a falling wedge, usually when we break that resistance going up, you can start targeting the previous resistances right here and right here on this little wedge pattern. It looks like it's kind of just been going sideways after we broke out of it. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. This was kind of a good sign that we're setting up this little falling wedge and then broke out of it. But like I said, it looks like it's going more sideways than it is actually breaking out and actually performing. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this chart. Like I said, if this chart starts moving up, then it's good for Dogecoin. If this chart starts breaking to the downside, it's good for Bitcoin. So let's check out Bitcoin real quick and let's see what's happening with that, because over the weekend, all-time highs, getting super, super close to 100,000. It seems like, I don't know. This is another reason why I've been kind of like skeptical on, dumping all my Dogecoin, is because I feel like Bitcoin still has more room to go. I mean, we didn't even hit 100,000. I mean, we got super, super, super close to it, but I feel like it's going to hit it like pretty soon. Just my opinion. And we've been looking at that. Let me zoom out. Let me delete that. We've been looking at this cup and handle pattern for a while. And this breakout might not be a clear breakout all the way to the top. We might have to have a little bit of trouble in here and kind of get a correction, then pump more to the downside. But in general, we've been looking at this cup and then this handle pattern. Cup and handle. Once we break that resistance right here on this channel pattern, we have the cup, and then we have the channel pattern. Once we break that resistance on the channel pattern, we can drag from the top to the bottom of the cup, drag that to the breakout, and that gives me that target of around 120,000, 113. Let's see. It really depends on where you drag from, though. Let's see. Let me delete these. Let's do something like from here to here, and then we'll drag that to the breakout. And then that gives me that target of around 118,000. I've been getting different targets, but I've been looking at like 120,000 approximately. This one was like more like 118. But in general, my point is, it looks like we still have room to go on that target from that cup and handle pattern, and that's kind of what I've been looking at the past couple of weeks. And ever since we broke this resistance, broke the previous top, and then broke that trend line, we've kind of been getting flying and getting these nice green candles, this big huge parabolic movement. So yeah, I'm still like when we were down here, I was talking about we had to break this resistance, break the previous top, and then break this trend line right here. We did all three of those, and I said once we do that, then we can get more confident on this target up here. We've been doing pretty good so far. Let's see if we can continue to move to the upside. All right. And if we go into like the 1 hour time frame, it does look like we're getting some resistance, and I do have this little downtrend right here where we have resistance, and then that's basically the main thing that I'm watching right now, though, is because we are kind of trending down and we are kind of having some trouble in this area. I think if we could break this resistance going to the upside, then maybe we can start getting back on track and start heading towards that target. Let's see, what else do we got? Let's total crypto market cap. Let's not take a look at that. Let's see what else. Ethereum looks like it's doing good. Let's go to the bottom one though. It looks like it's bouncing anyways. I've had a couple different targets on this chart too. We also have on Ethereum, we also have a cup and handle pattern and or just this channel pattern. I've been looking at both of them. If we target just the channel pattern, we target from the top to the bottom of the channel, drag this to the breakout because we did break out on this channel pattern, and that gives me a target of around 3,886 just breaking out of this channel, and we're very close to that target, sitting around 3,484 that's where we're at right now, and we're pretty close to that first target. The other target that I was looking at, same with Dogecoin, is we have this cup, and then we have a handle pattern, the cup, and then the channel pattern after that. Once we break that channel pattern going to the upside, then we can drag from the top to the bottom of the cup, something like this, drag this to the breakout, and that gives me a target of around, I've been getting different targets on that because there's like, highs and lows on here, but I was looking at a target of approximately 5,091, which kind of takes us up to the previous top over here. If we could break that top and come out of the Fibonacci retracement box that we've been looking at for a while, then that'll be a good signal. In general, we have these Fibonacci retracement boxes because we have a nice big run up. Once we start having trouble and going to the downside, then we set up the Fibonacci retracement tool. We get the Fibonacci retracement tool, drag from the bottom of the run to the top of the run. Then that gives us levels to watch as we go down to dollar cost average back in. So let's say we had a trend line right here. We broke it going to the downside. We set up the Fibonacci retracement box or the Fibonacci retracement tool, and then we could sell when we broke the trend line and then come back in at the Fibonacci retracement levels. And this one came all the way down to the 78% level, setting at 1,126. After that, then we started moving to the upside. But these Fibonacci retracement levels act as support and resistance. So we came up, found a little bit of resistance in that 38% level, and then came down. They basically give you areas to buy and sell, in my opinion. So once we break out, going to the next, like let's say we're moving to the upside, once we break one, then we can start looking at the next one for a target, next one for a target, next one for a target. Once we have resistance and start heading down, then we can sell and start buying going to the downside. So let's say we sold here, then we can buy back at the 38% level and or maybe the 50% level, came back down, found support on that 38, came back up to the 23. Like I said, so you can, if you played this right, you could sell it right here, buy it right here, sell it right here, buy it right here, buy it right here, try to buy it right here, but this one didn't go all the way down. But we found support right here, started to come up. You could have sold it right here, sold right here, or whatever. I mean, that's the way I kind of look at the Fibonacci retracement levels, and that's kind of what I'm just like a little lesson in Fibonacci retracement tool, pretty much. I was talking about that a lot on Dogecoin for a while, but we actually broke out of the Fibonacci retracement box that I had on Dogecoin. Once we broke out of this top right here, that's when Dogecoin really started flying, and you guys kind of saw that the last couple weeks. So yeah, that's what I've been looking, or that's some of the things I'm looking at. These are some of the targets that I'm looking at on Ethereum, though. What I do kind of want it to do is maybe go up to like 6,000. I think if we break out of this box, though, we might be able to go higher, but 6,000 was like a pretty good target for me. I might take profits this time around if we can go up that high. Let's see what else do we got. Let's take a look at our our watch list. Okay, so if you're new to trading, go to tradingview.com, sign up for an account, create a watch list, put all your favorite cryptos in here. There's a little plus button right here. You can search for your favorite crypto or stock. Click right there and then click this plus sign, and it'll add it to the watch list. Then you can come in at the beginning of the day and check out what percentage movement. Looks like Uniswap's up 10% today. Let's check it out real quick. I've kind of been talking about this sometimes on my channel. I talk about like the ones that get big moves anyways, but I was watching this chart. I think I have some on Gemini or something like that, but we have resistance, resistance, resistance all the way since, let's see, what is it, March 2024. So we've been kind of trending down on Uniswap. We had this big resistance line right there. Once we broke that, we broke it right here, going to the upside. That's a good sign. It kind of looks like you could kind of argue it's a falling wedge, maybe something like that. In a falling wedge, once we break the resistances, then we target the previous once we break that resistance line going to the upside, then we can start targeting the previous resistances. It looks like we're sitting right now at the first one, and then the second one is sitting at around 1548, 1550 approximately. Let's see, yeah, 1550 approximately. So right now we're sitting at 1210. Let's see if it can continue and move to the next one. And then if we zoom out on this chart too, we had like all-time highs up here around $45. So one thing we can do with this chart too is do a Fibonacci retracement in reverse and kind of look at a dead cat bounce. So the way we could do that is get the Fibonacci retracement tool, and instead of dragging from the bottom of the run to the top of the run, we're going to drag from the top of the from the top down to the bottom over here. So let's see, let's drag it something like this. And what this does is it gives us a retracement in reverse. So maybe it'll retrace going upwards. Right now, excuse me. Okay, so this is the top. This is the bottom over here, or this is the bottom as well. We basically had a bottom, something like this. We could use this chart because a lot of times when it does this, it's not unreasonable for us to go to the 50% or the 38%. The 38 and the 50% are some of my favorite levels, going up and or down. I mean, retracing down and retracing up. So we're still in this red box right here. I have a feeling if we can break out of that previous top that I was just talking about, something up here, then we can start looking at the 38 or the 50%. The 38 is sitting at around 1927. The 50% is sitting around 2420. And those are, so something like this or something like this, it's very possible in a like a dead cat bounce that it can go up to there. And then so okay, so when we use the Fibonacci retracement chart it the other way, we have a big run up and then we start heading down, and then we have levels to watch going to the downside. This way is the opposite, where we came up and then we came down, and then now we're looking for a bounce to the upside. Then we have levels to watch pushing up. And the 50%, like I was saying, is a very reasonable target. So that's sitting around 24.18. Let's see if it can do that. I mean, we had all-time highs all the way up here, like I was saying. Coming back to 50%, that's kind of reasonable. So that's something that I like doing. Hopefully, like, I'm not saying go buy Uniswap or whatever. I'm just kind of showing you how you can use the Fibonacci retracement chart and TradingView and these tools, and some of the strategies that I kind of use. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like I said, I've been holding Uniswap for a while. I think I have some on Gemini still, but I might even have a little bit on Coinbase. But yeah, let's see if it can go up. This coin completely got beat down and wrecked, and then now it's kind of been trading sideways in this area. If we could break out of that red zone, then I think it'll be good. And I also think in general, because we broke this downtrend or that resistance going to the upside, that's also a good signal for this coin. And then it's up 9% today, and that's the reason why we're looking at it. Like I said, if we go to TradingView, set up a watch list, then you could come over here and see what's performing today and then kind of check it out. It looks like ICP to Bitcoin's doing pretty good today as well. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up though. Let's go back to Dogecoin. I think I'm kind of interested in what's going to happen today, or in general. I'm really hoping that we can continue to hold support on this trend line and bounce to the upside. I mean, we could be looking at a correction right here, and if that's the case, let's just, for hypothetical purposes, let's say we've topped out right now. What I would do is get the Fibonacci retracement, and since, okay, so like I always talk about, when we have a big run up and then we think we're having trouble and we're pushing to the downside, I'm not 100% sure that we're going to the downside. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys already sold and took profits and waiting for a target going to the downside, but let's just hypothetically say we are topping out right now. We have a nice big run. We get from the bottom of the run to the top of the run, something like that. We got the Fibonacci retracement tool. We drag from the bottom of the run to the top of the run, and then that gives us levels to watch as we go down. So let's say we sold it right here, or let's say we broke down right here and started heading to the downside, broke this one as well, going to the downside. Some of the spots that we could use, we'd get the Fibonacci retracement tool, drag from the bottom of the run to the top of the run. Then we could start looking at these levels as possible supports and or places we could dollar cost average back in if you sold up here and want to get back in. The 38% level is sitting around .335, the 50% sitting at .290, 61% sitting at .245. It's kind of hard to tell how far they're going to go down, even if they do start retracing, but these levels might come into play where it'll come down, find support on it, get a bounce, or like bounce in between them, do something like that. Sometimes it'll go down the 50%, come back up to the 23, come back down, something like this. I don't know. These levels though, surprisingly come into play and act as either resistance or support, something like that. Support, we'll get bounces on them, either that or we'll get rejection on them, and then it'll be like resistance where we come up to it, get rejected, and then start pushing down, something like that. I don't know if I'm ready to like start looking at these levels quite yet, but I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm still on the hopium or whatever, but I'm still hoping that it does continue to push to the upside. Technically, we are still trending up. We are creating lower highs, higher lows, and higher highs. So let's see if we can continue this momentum. Let's see if we could break out of that resistance line right here, this new line that we're watching, and let's see if we can start pushing back to the upside decisively instead of having trouble in this area and or retracing down to possibly some of these levels. The 50% is very... Like I said, if we are retracing, the 50% level is not a bad level, sitting at around .290. A lot of the times that 50% comes into play at least. In the last one that we were watching, when we had a run, let's go ahead. I deleted everything on this chart, but I think it was over here where we had the bottom of this run to the top of it. We'd been looking at this Fibonacci retracement chart for a long time, like pretty much all year, something like that, where we had a big run up, and then we started having trouble and pushing to the downside. We came all the way down to the very bottom of the Fibonacci retracement. But if you were following through this time, a lot of the times we were coming down and hitting these Fibonacci retracement levels and getting bounces on them and or getting rejected on them. Like we got rejected on the 38% level right here, but we were finding support on the 61% right here. Bounce, bounce, bounce. So, yeah, that's kind of the point, is that they come into play. Sometimes they act as support. Sometimes they act as resistance right here, pretty much at that 23% level. Resistance right here, support. But yeah, that's kind of what we'll be looking at next if we start moving really to the downside and start breaking trends, because if we start breaking, so we already have started breaking supports. We had a trend line something like this. We broke that support going sideways right here, started going sideways. We did kind of bounce up. That's why I was like kind of pumped. I was kind of excited on Friday, and I thought for sure we were going to start moving up with this little run right here, but we had trouble right here at around .470. Then we started trending down. So let's see if we can if we can hold support on this line and or this bottom right here, if we start breaking these, that might be the first sign that we might be going down. If we break this one, then that's for surely a sign that we might be going down, and we might at least be looking at the 50% level. This bottom down here is sitting at around .344. From here to here, it's not very high, but from where we at right now to the 50% level, so you have to kind of make a choice. Are you going to be bearish right now and try to hit something like this, or are you still going to hold and hope that it kind of keeps going up? Right now, I'm not seeing a lot of clear signs that it's pushing up. It kind of looks like it's more testing to the downside, but I'm still kind of holding on. I've been holding for this long, so might as well continue. If it goes down, then I might just start accumulating more instead of just selling it all. And I don't know. I'm hoping that it can go higher though before I really sell a big portion of my Dogecoin. But that's what I'm thinking. Let me know what you guys are thinking though. If you guys like the video, hit the thumbs up. If you like watching these videos, hit the subscribe button. If you want to watch the last video where I was talking about the target that didn't happen, check it out right here. If you guys want to check out this, if you guys are new to trading, check out this playlist right here. It's about TradingView and how to get started looking at charts. All right, if you guys like the video, hit the thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.